Have you ever wondered how you can tell if a man is in love? Thankfully, it's not a matter of if, because a love-struck man will inevitably give himself away. And it becomes even easier to detect if you're knowledgeable about psychology. So without further ado, here are 10 fascinating psychological facts about men in love. 1. He says, "we," more often. A man who is in love with someone will, unconsciously, imagine thinking of himself and that person as being together whether or not they actually are. Because of that, he'll be using a lot more "we" and "are" and less "me" and "mine." He would say something like, "We should go meet up at the park later," instead of, "I'd like to meet up with you at the park later." These things are subtle, and he might even blush when he catches himself saying "we" more often. 2. Sex isn't everything for him. There's this idea that guys have nothing inside of their heads but sex, sex, and more sex. But that's just not the case. It can't be denied that guys generally have a strong sex drive. But for a guy who's madly in love, sex is secondary to being together with you. He might even consider cuddling to be better than sex. 3. He tries to understand your feelings. A man who is in love is the most curious man in the world. He'll want to understand you and your feelings, to know what makes you happy and what he can do for you when you're sad. Whether or not you're already a couple, he would be always willing to hear what you have to say and be there to offer you comfort. 4. He's an open book. Men who are in love will want to do their best to form a connection with you, and if that means opening themselves to you, then they will do it, even if not all at once. If he has been hurt before, he'd be careful about what he shares at first. But he'll open up sooner or later if he finds you worthy. 5. He likes how you look. Studies show that men are visual creatures. So while a man who's already in love with someone will care for more than just her looks, her personality and their compatibility matters a lot, and attraction begins with the body. No ifs and buts. If a guy is in love with you, you have no reason to be insecure about your looks because you already got that one covered. He already adores every inch of you. 6. He becomes a much better man. It's true what they say, being in love can change a person. Love changes a person's brain chemistry that it becomes easier for a person in love to stop addiction, whether it be from cigarettes, alcohol, or sex. This is the reason why many alcoholics do not get caught until later in the relationship, because it's so easy for them to quit and put their best foot forward in the beginning. As time goes on and their brain's chemistry goes back to normal, that's when it gets really hard. But hey, that's when we can see the power of true. 7. He'll hold on to every compliment he gets. As a rule of thumb, men are incredibly lonely and attention-starved. They will remember even the smallest genuine compliment they get for years, and if that compliment just so happens to have come from someone they love, they will hold it close to their hearts and never forget it. If you think his hair looks sexy, tell him. He won't forget it, especially if the compliment is from someone he's head over heels in love with. 8. He'll always try to find time. While it's not quite true that you're never too busy to spend time with the people you love, responsibilities exist, after all. It is true that a man who's in love will try to find time in his life, no matter how busy or laid back, to spend time with you and for you. If a man is in love with you, he can't stop thinking of you, and you can be sure you're at the top of his priority list. 9. He won't keep you waiting. A man who's in love won't waste any time and respond to your calls or texts as soon as he can. He won't play games and force you to chase after him because he'll be too worried that he'd lose you over it. If he ever is late in responding, it will be because he's worried that he'll come off as a bit too desperate for you. Men are simple creatures. If they truly like you, they will show it and keep showing it until you get tired of them. 10. He will wait for you. When a man has decided that he truly loves you, and you tell him you aren't quite ready, he will be more than willing to sit back and wait for you for how long it may take. While some of them will try to find another girl to have a rebound relationship with, most men are willing to wait if they're really into you. Hope you learned something new in this video. If so, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.